Hello, Taurus, and welcome to Scout's Tarot, where curiosity and the divine align. This is your January 2022 reading, and this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising. Before we jump in, apologizing in advance for any car sounds, honking, sirens, construction noises, all that jazz on a busy road, can't be helped. But yeah, we will jump right in. So we have for our first card, the Ten of Swords energy. So if you're new to my channel and to how I read, I do the energy going into the month, throughout the month, and the energy exiting the month. So this is the energy coming out of December and into January 2022. Again, Ten of Swords energy. So yes, tens do represent end of a cycle, but in this case, it's of like struggle and strife, Taurus. That you've been carrying a load, you've been dealing with some serious challenges here, testing your fortitude in terms of how you work, how you communicate, how you process information, deal with situational stresses. That it has just been a monumental lift, and it feels like finally coming out of December that the hard part is over, right? That the worst of it is behind you in your back, but it is at least done with, right? And that while the Ten of Swords does seem very extreme in that sense, especially, considering how down and out the individual is, in reality, what it's trying to say is that there's no more room on this person's back for more stabs, right? For more challenges, for more stresses, that the worst of it is now over. The only thing that's left to do now is to rise up from it, right? Which leads us to the card throughout the month of January, the energy throughout this first month of the year, and it's the Ten of Pentacles. So coming out of one ending of a cycle and into a new ending of a different cycle. And I feel like this, because the pentacles do represent earth signs, that this for you, Taurus, represents your connection to home and family, right? Yes, it does represent prosperity. It can represent the comfortability that we have within our financial status. But I feel for you, Taurus, that whatever issue you were dealing with in December, that you had to struggle through, it was likely based off of the home and family life. And yeah, it could very well deal with like inheritance and things along those lines. But I think it was more so about the connections that you have with people. That the cycle that may have ended could have been like not feeling able to support your family, communicate with your family, be honest with what was going on, where you were dealing with the stresses that you may have been through, that they were so, so sharp, right? That they were so painful, that inflicted so much internal pain, that now that it's over, you're looking to, the home and family connections that you have, and focusing more so on what that means in terms of the strength that you have with your position in that family. In terms of, say, if it's a relationship or a partnership that you're working on, that this could now finally, this is over with, whatever challenge, hurdle that you were dealing with, it's over. Now you can okay, I'm at a better place. I can now take you home, partner, to meet my family, to see, the bonds that I have with my friends, whatever it might be, to showcase the strength that you may have been relying on to get through this energy here. That the completion here isn't necessarily that, okay, so that relationship is over, or that the family bonds that I created or done. It's now you can rely on the strengths of these family and friendship bonds, that you do have prosperity in this space throughout January. And I think the challenge could very well be, well, how are you connecting with those energies, or how are you connecting with those bonds? How are you relying on them to help you move forward? Because there are times where when we finish a challenge, that all we want to do is just lay out and be done. But I feel like this is now that this is done, you got to jump, you got to get to the next thing. So perhaps it's like, okay, now that I dealt with this issue, where am I going from here? How am I moving forward? Who should I be relying on, turning to, asking for advice? And I think it's the family bonds that you have here, right? This could be your birth family, chosen family, the tight, close circle of people that you have around you that you turn to in your times of need. That the advice throughout the month is rely on these prosperous bonds that you have, this stability that you have, and rely on them to, maybe it is you quit a job and because it was just killing you from the inside out, whether financially, intellectually, whatever it might have been, you just couldn't do it. You're done. You're exhausted. You're wiped out. You're not doing it anymore. Now we're in January and you need to rely on family to help get you to the next point. Which brings us to the energy towards the end of the month of January and going into February. And it's the Emperor card, which the Emperor represents, it's a major arcana card, right? So it's an overarching energy. And it is one of those like controlling factors, right? That the masculine leadership energy beyond that of a king, where it could represent like taking leadership. This is more about having control, right? Whether it's of our passions, if it's of our connections with other people, having control over our own lives as we're moving through our challenges and our hurdles and the good moments and everything else, that having a sense of control over what's happening. And I think the energy going into February, especially if you're dropping or leaving stuff behind, ending this cycle here and working on a new cycle, whether it's relying on the strength of your family to get you through it, that you, at the end of the month, at the end of the day, Taurus, you need to take control of what you want out of life, right? Don't let somebody else tell you what you should be looking for. Don't let, somebody else tell you like, hey, this is where your purpose is. This is where you should focus, blah, blah, blah. You can rely on family to give you advice, but if that advice turns into control, where it's like, well, if you don't do this, and that means you don't really trust us, or you don't really love your family, or blah, blah, like that, I'm getting conflicting energy here between the Ten of Pentacles and in the Emperor, in that it's okay to rely on family and get advice to turn on the strength that you have within family bonds. But at the end of the day, at the end of the month, when it's time to make a decision, whether it's taking a new job, moving to a new place, starting a new relationship, whether it's beginning a new project, you need to rely on the confidence in yourself at this point, that family will be there to support you, thank the gods. But if it starts to turn into a controlling element, you need to be able to stand, firm in what it is that you want here, Taurus. All right, so we're going to now leverage the Oracle of the Seven Energies deck to get some advice with this Ten of Swords energy. All right, in my magic, spiritually aligned, what advice do we have for dear sweet Taurus, celestial divine? This is the energy coming out of December and into January. Ten of Swords energy. Taurus has been through a lot, had to struggle through it a little bit, had to deal with some sharp edges they may not have been ready for. They had to speak the truth, and it may have hurt others, may have hurt themselves, but it needed to be said. They had to work a job they didn't like. They had to have a conversation they didn't want. Whatever it is, Taurus has handled it. Okay. And our advice is waking the lion, number 19. Ooh, got close. That was number 20. So I'm going to read from the book. So waking the lion. Regardless of the outer conditions right now, you can't wait for your fear to lessen before you move forward. In fact, despite the chaos and seeming disarray, you must be bold. Whatever your trepidation, act as if you have deep trust and all will be well. Nothing is promised to you, but you will never truly see magic if you don't take the risk. Come to the edge of certainty in your life and leap into the unknown. You have no guarantee of immediate success. Ooh. Okay, Taurus. Earthbound energy. You guys are all about stability, your consistency. You don't like change. You want shit to not necessarily be the same, but to be reliable, right? And sometimes you don't have that, right? When you're pushed out of your comfort zone, Taurus, you're like, what in the holy fuck? I don't want this. And either you shut down, you turn off, you walk away, you get angry, whatever it is, you react in a way that reflects your discontent with the situation or with the person or whatever it might be. The energy that I'm picking here, that I'm reading here, Taurus, is that you're in the face of that certain adversity, you're gonna have to take the leap. Although that phrase doesn't really work for me here. It's not really vibing. But I feel like, yeah, okay, there it is. It's obviously roaring in the face of adversity. That when you're dealing with this situation here with this the Ten of Swords energy and trying to move beyond this challenge, the hurt and pain and struggle that you've gone through, the decisions that were not easy to make but had to be done, that you've had, and you need to be able to speak your truth, right? That it may not sound well for everybody else, but it is the truth. And you have to be willing to take that risk, right? Of like, look, I gotta say it, I gotta do it. This is what needs to be done. And it is about being brave and courageous, right? That you need to, you know what? I know that this job is important, or I know that this relationship with my family member or whoever it is important, but it's killing me, right? It is disastrous for my spirit. I can't do this anymore. And you have to be able to make that call. Now, I'm not saying this is not like job advice. I'm not telling you to quit your job, but you need to take into consideration the pain and suffering that you may be experiencing as a result of being in said job. Can you change it? Is there something that you can do about it to make it, I don't know, doable, right? And I think that sometimes when you're faced with change that you're not willing or able to accept, that a Taurus is not to generalize, but I mean, it's YouTube. I can only get so specific with these readings, but Taurus can have the tendency to just sit and suffer quietly, that they're willing to just, deal with it. Yes, you guys can be, as they say, bull in a china shop, where you just smash your way through shit and deal with it, and then that's that. But there are also occasions where you're more likely to sit quietly and just take it. And I think that's how you ended up with this Ten of Swords energy of just, sword after sword after sword, stabbed here, sliced there, that you're just like, what? I'm done. I'm done with this. And you're gonna have to, go from quiet cat to roaring lion in order to really take that control and to own what it is that you want in life, and then make the change. Which now brings us to the Ten of Pentacles energy, and I'm going to use the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle deck to get some clarity with this card, right? Because if you need to rely on family, rely on close circles, a space of or a place of strength here, Taurus, that prosperous space that you need to be in order to take that step forward. Like when you roar, your throat might be a little sore, right? You may need a minute, and you're going to need to turn to a place of strength to regather your own, focus and be able to take those steps forward and look at what you can do. What does prosperous look like to you? Like, what is it that you want in order to feel stable? So let's clear out our energies. Okay, let's try that again. I'm in my magic, spiritually aligned. Here we are. Advice from the divine. So this is the High Lord of Gratitude and Service. Number 2. Ooh, all right. Let's get in here. And I apologize now for all the clearing. Well, I apologize in general for all the clearing of the throat. But okay. Here we go. Gratitude and Service. Whew. This card has arrived to help you find your true purpose today. Feeling gratitude for each moment you experience and loving what is and what has been will remind you that every breath you take holds a deep and profound awareness. Through small actions and selfless service to another, you're automatically placed upon your highest path, whether you're immediately aware of it or not. The presence of this card lets you know that you're on the correct path to fulfilling your desires. The fact that this is Pentacles, Taurus, that this is about, prosperity in the financial sense as well, that you may be presented with the opportunity to help somebody within your circle, right? Whether you're able to trying to like roll up on a family member or a friend, and perhaps you're in a difficult spot, but you're actually able to help them too. Maybe they just need somebody to drive their car while they're away or something like that, just keep the engine running, just something like that you're able to provide some sort of service and exhibit that same gratitude of like, I just went through a whole bunch of shit, I could use something like that from family, something to give back, so I can exhale, gather myself again, and reestablish your own energies, Taurus, because you are a generous sign. You like your hostish sign, where when somebody is in your space, you want them to be comfortable. You want to provide, the energies of comfortability, so you don't, you don't cut corners in that space, right? If someone's coming over and you got a guest room, you're hooking it up, right? If they're coming by and you're like, do you want anything to eat, drink? I have this, blah, blah, blah. Like you're very, service oriented in that sense, that you're a nurturing type of energy. And I think as you're dealing with the energies from December, that struggle, strife, and hurdle and challenge, and having to deal with a lot of that sharpness of the past, that you could use some softness in the present. Yeah. I didn't even need to read the rest. Like that just vibed fully. That you're leaning on these energies, these earthbound energies that you have, Taurus. And this again goes for sun, moon, and rising. That you are a type of sign that, yes, can be seen as stubborn and doesn't like to change, blah, blah, blah. But you guys are such a soft sign in terms of being able to support someone, to be there to help them when they may not even know that they need it. And I think by helping others in your circle, you will find that you're helping yourself as well. Which brings us to the Emperor card, our last one. We're going to turn to the Super Attractor Advice deck to get some tips going into February with this Emperor energy, right? This controlling energy, this overarching theme in your life. Whether this is a person in your life constantly telling you what to do or what to expect, whether this is yourself telling yourself that, well, I can't do this kind of work, or this is the kind of stuff I want to do, this is the partnership that I want to be in, this is the place I want to live at, and not being able to get there and having to deal with some of the sharp truths or challenges of getting there, that you're now in a position where it's like, I am, reconnecting with my inner nature, my softer side, my feminine side. I'm able to reconnect, reestablish, and now I'm ready to take a step forward, right? You've woken the lion. The lion may need to, speak up and be a little bit forceful, but it's done. And now this lion is awake, right? The lion's not going to turn back to a kitty cat. The cat's, this is a big cat. The cat got shit to do, right? It's your inner nature. The dual-sidedness of everyone's nature, the feminine and the masculine. It's important to have that balance, and it just feels like masculine and feminine here, regardless of gender, and so saying, but more so about that balance of energies that we all have within ourselves. And I think the Emperor, being a major arcana, is you need to now, Taurus, figure out what does that balance look like in this reality, right? What does that kind of work look like? You can deal with the hardship. You can bring on the softness in the quieter aspects of ourselves. What does this now look like going into February? I'm in my magic, spiritually aligned. What advice do we have for dear sweet Taurus going into February, celestial divine? Can I get one card, please? One card, por favor. Solo uno. Yeah, this is big energies, Taurus. The fact that a single card hasn't popped up just yet. All right, just one. I only take flippers. Showcases that this is big stuff. This is not easy for obvious reasons. Balancing the yin and yang of our inner nature and presenting it in the three-dimensional reality is not always an easy thing to do. So it's understandable why this may take a minute for this card to show up. Okay, let's see. One card, please. I might take two, but no more then. Okay, there we go. All right. Appreciate your patience. So it says, spiritual alignment puts my manifestation into motion. There you go. Look at this. Look at the synchronicity here. We got stars. We got sun. This is. When we take that first step, Taurus, on our path to our true purpose, it can be terrifying because it is outside our normal, right? But at the same time, it awakens us, right? It not only is it weird, but it feels right. You're like, well, this seems a little too easy at some points. Maybe that first step is a challenge, but once you take that first step and you're like, you step into the garden out of like the thicket and you're like, whoa, wait a second. This is different. I don't hate it. Definitely don't hate it, but this is different. And I think with the Emperor energy, you need to decide to take that first step and recognize that by relying on your inner nature, that softer quality to yourself, that if you continue to always be in defense mode, because yeah, you're right, you have been through some shit, Taurus. It hasn't been easy, it hasn't been fun, and you're trying to collect yourself, pick yourself up, and live your life the way you would like to, at least in some aspect, right? Or have that relationship that allows you to really, express yourself authentically. Just trying to get there. You finally have awoken that inner, that inner nature within yourself. And yeah, it was scary because you had to do it. It was nothing more you could do. You were done, right? And now that you've done that, you're relying on this Ten of Pentacles energy, this ultimate space of prosperity, fortitude within the family, strength in the stability of said, circle, again, chosen family, birth family, whichever. And by being there, being that host-like person, Taurus, to be that consistent, reliable aspect within that circle, is that exchange of service and gratitude, that you're thankful for being able to help somebody, that you're able to give back to somebody, that if they feel comfortable reaching out to you, you're like, oh my God, yes, I can help you with that. It realigns with your spiritual aspects of your inner nature of, right, this is what I do like to be that reliable person. I like to help people. And by doing that, you are now finally taking control of your life, that you're finally taking those steps into this garden that is your true purpose in life. And by recognizing that, you're manifesting what it is that you want to do with either your life, with your relationship, and more so than that, your sanity at this point. Because December wasn't easy. January is going to feel weird, but you're making choices that are going to put you in a position that aligns with your true purpose. Yeah. All right, Taurus. I don't believe that was a 15-minute video, but we can all have dreams. But again, I hope this resonates, that aligns with my, sun, moon, and rising Taurus signs. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And I will see you all in February. Take care.